I'm hungry again. Let's make us some patty melts. As you can see, we got some cheeses, which is literally just Kobe Jack and Gouda. We got our bread, which we're going to be using Texas toast. Gotta love Texas toast. And we got ground beef and an onion. That's really it. That's all you need to make a patty melt. It's going to be super simple. Let's get into it. First things first is our onion. We've chopped the onion many of times. Don't cut this end off if you don't want to cry. Do not cut this end off. We are going to start with this end. Boom. See? Cut that end off first. Then the onion becomes super easy to peel once you actually cut that end off. Check this out. Boom. Just like that. Peel the whole thing off. Almost in one go. Super easy to peel. Look at that pretty, clean, peeled onion. And then, so as you can see, again, cut that end off. Don't cut this end off if you don't want to cry. And then once you cut that end off, it becomes pretty easy to peel after that. So now we're gonna go right here, center, down, boom, right in half. The reason we cut it in half like that is so this little bulb right here, this is gonna hold it in place while we cut it. If we were dicing it, of course, but with this one, we're not gonna dice it. So just super simple, just gonna cut ribbons, just like that. Ribbons, so. That's that. You know what I'm saying? Ribbons. Look at that. Pretty, 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 pretty ribbons. And yeah. Then this part can go in the trash. Now let's get into our ground beef. So this is 2.5 pounds of ground beef. We don't need this much. We really just need 1 pound, but I bought this big old thing just so I can cut it in half and save the rest for another dish. Maybe meatloaf or something. Super simple. We're just gonna cut it in half real quick. Now we can use this half for our burgers, and then we can use this half for another dish or something. Awesome. So this is our ground beef. Let's cut it in half one more time. Boom. Again. And this right here is our burger patty. So this one, because it's all we're eating, what we can actually do, because I think I'm gonna make a smash burger. So just split that in half again. And then we can smash these down to make 2 beautiful smash burger patties. So, yeah. Then we'll take a second one because I'm gonna eat 2. Same thing. Actually, just because it's a video, we won't make 4 smash burgers. We'll make 1 smash burger and then we'll make 1 normal patty just for video's sake. So let's do that. Then these other 2, I have something for lunch tomorrow. So that can go in the fridge. All right, do that. So as you can see, butter all nice and foamy. You can hear that beautiful sizzle. Now we just go in with our onions. So we just want to coat all of our onions, you know, break them up. But we want to coat all of our onions in butter. There we go. Alright. So we broke up our onions and we just pretty much want to make sure all the onions here is coated in butter, because what we're about to do is we're about to caramelize our onions. And caramelized onions is going to be a bit of a process. We want them nice and golden dark brown. So we want to make sure our onions always stay hydrated and they don't dry out, because once they dry out, then that's when they start to burn, and that's not what we want. So now that our onions are all nice and coated in butter, we can turn our heat down to about a medium low. And we're going to give it just a sprinkle of sugar just to help that caramelization process. So when we caramelize our onions, what's happening is that the low and slow process makes our onion releases sugars. And as you know, once sugar actually starts to heat up, it starts to caramelize. So the onions releasing sugar is what's going to caramelize them, and us adding a little bit of sugar to the onions is going to help speed up that process. So we're going to cook our onions on low and slow for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to come back and show you guys what caramelized onions look like. Alright, so these are our onions. And if you've noticed that this might be a different batch, that's because our first batch, we most definitely burnt. This is our first batch. And I'm going to let this be a learning lesson, because I was definitely in there playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And I kind of forgot about them. So, especially when you get to the later stages, right? Once you get to like this color, you can go deeper, darker brown than this. But if you do, you can't really afford to take your eye off of it, because it can literally go from brown to burnt in a few seconds. So that's when you really want to like keep moving around, so you don't accidentally start burning them. But this right here is good for me, and we're still going to use that first batch of onions because I don't care. But yeah, this right here is pretty good for me. So this is our onions. Now we can go ahead and cook our second batch. So as you can see, there's still a lot of oil in the pan. That's from caramelizing our onions. And we can start with our regular patty first. And what we're going to do first is we're going to go down with mustard. Nasty smash. So we're gonna let that cook for a little bit, and then we're gonna take off our little smash iron thing here. So that right there is our patty, and while that is cooking, go ahead and go down with salt. Pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and that right there is it. That mustard is going to give it a lot of flavor. Don't knock it till you try it. Before some of y'all go, ew, mustard. Don't knock it till you try it, because believe me, it's going to taste good. We're going to go down with a piece of cheese. And that right there is patty number 1. Now for our smash burgers. We're going to use the super smash. And salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, mustard, then a piece of cheese. So all we do is assemble, right? So now it's just bread. Under the bread, we got another slice of cheese with some Gouda. And then also on this bread, I put mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is going to give you a nice, beautiful crust, sometimes better than butter. But I also have one without mayonnaise, and that's just going to be butter, just so I can show you guys the difference. So, bread down first. Then we're going to go with our onions. Then second piece of bread. Just smash down. Look at how beautiful that looks. That's what mayonnaise does. It gives you a nice, beautiful, even crust. Okay, and now I'm going to show you guys butter. So let's go ahead and get with our butter. Put our buttermilk in. And we're just going to move it around so it can soak up the butter. That rest of our onions. Then our top bread. Then same thing with the last one, smash down. Kind of like we're cooking a grilled cheese. Move it around again so it can soak up all that butter. Then we smash once more. So on this one, actually, the butter method actually gave it a bit of crust. I'm pretty sure that's because I moved it around though. That way it could cook evenly. But usually the mayonnaise method does better. Interesting. Alrighty, so this is our final product. Our 2 patty melts with fries. So I want to talk real quick before I try this. I want to talk real quick about the way we browned our bread, right? On the right side, we have the butter, and on the left side, we have the mayonnaise. So the butter actually gave it a much better crust, a prettier crust than the mayonnaise, right? The only thing with butter is butter cooks much faster than mayonnaise. So this browned before the cheese ever really got a chance to fully melt, which is why with this one, when you just see me pull it apart, it gave us a nice little cheese stretch because the mayonnaise took longer to brown and it gave the cheese a chance to melt properly. So personally, I prefer the mayonnaise method, but do what you want, you know what I'm saying? You can definitely use the butter method and just cook it much slower than I did. But the mayonnaise method, I like better. So let's go ahead and give these a try. This one is the 2 smash burgers, and then this one is the regular patty. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Yeah. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Let's try a regular patty. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so another good recipe. I'm finna eat. I'll see y'all in the next one. Yeah.